Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, we're back.
We are back, and it's greetings from this gentleman here.
Orange Bob.
Yes. no relation to Mr. Trump.
Oh, I'm looking at the camera, into this camera, looking at the monitor. I'm bright orange. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, well,
I've been on the marmalade.
No, you've painted yourself. Haven't you? You've sprayed tan.
I'm not guilty, officer. And here's Ramon.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Hi.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today then?
Well, we've been a bit quiet for a while.
We have.
Okay.
We have.
Because truth is, we've actually been quite busy. Like Jim's a monster for me. I mean,
yeah.
You know, for an amateur, man.
He's on tour.
Armchair, pipe and slippers.
He's in demand. He's on tour.
Well, I've got 6 gigs with 4 different outfits.
Yeah.
This being one of them, and we'll tell you about that in a bit. But you're quite busy too.
Yeah. So tonight, I mean, this is going to go out later, but tonight I'm playing with Malcolm Bruce, who's the son of Chap Bruce, and we're playing the famous Ill Pie Club
in Twickenham.
In Twickenham,
which is a gig with a lot of great historical baggage.
Oh yeah, I think so, and also, you know, I mean, Jeff Beck was famously played there.
Well, your Stones who rolled.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
Roll, you know, and it's really nice because I played the Ealing Jazz and Blues Club 3 times.
Yeah.
And that's like, for that to open is rare as hen's teeth. It opens up once every 10 years,
yeah.
And I've been very lucky to play. So it's nice. And I haven't played the Ill Pie Club, so it's nice to.
No, I'm jealous. I'd love to play because with all that, late '60s blues heritage, I'm mad for it.
And talking about 60s blues heritage, what are we playing today?
Absolutely nothing to do with '60s blues heritage.
Not really, no.
Well, I mean, the most tenuous connection, hardly.
Eric Clapton played one.
But we're playing what looked like Explorers.
Yeah.
What looked like Explorers. They are not quite Explorers. Yours is closer.
Yep. It's pretty much the guitar. Because I mean, we should like make a bet how long the video is before we mention Eric.
Well, yes. Well, we already have.
Yeah.
And he's the tenuous blues connection anyway. So
yeah, exactly. But Eric, of course, was influenced by the guitarist of the guy. Can I remember his name? Who wrote This Masquerade?
I don't know who wrote it.
Leon Russell.
Leon Russell wrote it.
Yeah, and
his guitar player. So I remember years ago, right, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And drooling over Les Pauls and Stratocasters I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And then this kind of slightly weird shaped guitar turned up. Leon Russell was on the Whistle Test or Disco 2, the predecessor.
Whispering.
Early rock television, right? And he had this pointy guitar, and I think by then I'd seen a Firebird, or not. But for years, I was looking at these Firebirds and going, well, the one I saw wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
But it must have taken me 8 years before something else like this turned up.
Mm.
I thought, it's a bloody Explorer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, their incredible rarity explained why I hadn't seen another one.
Yeah.
But you're right, it was the Leon Russell guitar was the first one I saw.
And it was I think it was at the Bangladesh tribute for Bangladesh George Harrison concert.
Okay.
And that's where Eric Clapton got a load of this, and he went out and bought one which had the cut-off. He thought it was sold as like a special prototype, and then it wasn't. It's just some guy. Because if you own one of these, you know that when you walk through a door, you always click this out.
It's like if you own a Firebird, this is the end you knock.
Yeah.
And if you own an Explorer, this is the end you knock.
So you can see how all the battering here is over the years. But this particular guitar is made by ESP Navigator. It's very faithful with Karina, beautifully made. And this was hanging up in a Tokyo club. Like a bar, in a Tokyo bar.
So it was all kind of nicotine infested.
And it took a week to get the nicotine off.
It's had switches or other knobs or.
Yeah, it had EMGs installed and some more. And basically, I restored it. I mean, it's a bit of a hack job. You can see there, it's been patched up in here. But man, this guitar is so vibey. I just love it. It's one of my favourite guitars.
What are the pickups on it?
I can't mention his name because we fell out, but it's of that person.
Begins with M though.
Begins with M. Ends in O.
Right. Okay.
But I won't mention his name because
actually begins with ends in E. Actually.
We ended as lovers.
Okay. All right. So the one thing I would say, it's a fantastic guitar to play. It's got a classic, biggish neck, but got quite a wide and flat feel. Very rock and roll guitar. Yeah. The one thing is, this is for a piece of Karina, this is quite heavy.
It is. It's getting on for £9.
Yeah.
I think it's about £8.5.
Right.
which you might say, hey, £8.5 is not that heavy, but for an Explorer it is.
Well, the thing is, all the mystery and the mojo, right, is that the old ones, obviously all the liquid has evaporated out and the wood's crystallised, and they've ended up becoming really quite light, and they feel almost sort of internally stressed.
Yeah, so maybe those ones are like £7.5. £7.
Yeah, and certainly eight kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is getting on more towards £9, but I'd say between 8.5.
I mean, obviously the hardware doesn't lose a lot of moisture over its time. But
no, but you know what? Because of the shape, you don't really notice the weight too much when it's strapped to you.
No.
But they're just a great. The great thing about it, because the Firebird's neck is over here, whereas the Explorer's neck is here. This is very interesting. We've had a few people ask about this.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my Dwight, made by Uber restorer refinisher luthier Clive Brown in the north of England. He bought the name Dwight, and Dwight was used on a department store's rebrand of an Epiphone Coronet in about 1961. That's where the original Dwights come from. Collectors like them because the Coronet's a bloody good guitar anyway. It's basically a Les Paul Jr. But the Dwight ones are just extra rare, and instead of a little E here, which stands for Epiphone, you've got a D for Dwight. There's only about 100, and collectors like them because they're a great coronet, but there's a talking point, yeah? So he bought the name, and he started making these things. He's made quite a few. He sells them to the States for good coin. The Americans recognise a good guitar when they see them, and these are amazing guitars. I mean, this is, I don't know how old it is now, 7, 8 years?
How heavy is that?
Light. It's pretty light.
Oh yeah,
it's light.
Yeah, this is a bit of a beast.
There's less hardware on it, but it's light. It's got a huge neck. I mean, this is not a big neck. This is a bigger neck.
Yes, it's very deep. It's fat.
Deep, fat, wide. Thing. But the other thing, you probably won't hear it, but it just rings like a great acoustic.
Yeah. So we'll look at this one.
So this sounds brighter, livelier. So this is basically a cross between an Explorer.
Is that what wood is that?
Hmm?
What wood is this?
Well, so I don't know what the technical name is because Carina, remember, is a brand name.
It's not African limber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
what this is. Yeah.
This is. I don't know if this is real African limber or if this is a similar timber. I don't know. It feels and looks exactly the part.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go into the botanical Latin. For it, That's slightly more figured. This is a bit more ordinary as a piece of wood. It's not very flamey or anything,
Yeah, because this has got some nice kind of Carina flame to it, kind of bear claw, whatever you call it.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit fancier. Yeah. I mean, an awful lot of I've played 2 real Explorers and which is that's about 1/10 of the world population, and they're not particularly fancy guitars.
No.
At the time, and nor are the Flying V's from '58. They're not very fancy, not flamey and crazy. No. They're just super fantastic, loud, vibey rock and roll guitars.
Right, Bob. So let's get to the subject of this video, which is.
I don't know. You're about to tell me.
Filmer sound amplifiers.
It's Filmer sound amplifiers.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if you just clicked on this video because you like Filmer sound and you didn't know anything about Bob and I, then you're probably thinking, where's the Filmer sound bit?
Well, there's the usual half hour's preamble before you get to the main course. Here we are, the main course.
So here we are, out on the main course. Now, so these are 2 Filmer sound amplifiers here. Now, Bob is playing through a 6V6 1950s projector amplifier, which was originally, it's still in its 60mm projector housing, which was obviously removed the projector out, but the sound module has remained.
There's a hole here.
Yeah.
On the side, a square hole, and that I guess is where the lens, the projection lens, used to stick.
Yeah, that's right. And then basically these were modded by both of these projector amps here. There's one here behind me as well, and I'll do close-ups so you can see on the video. These were modified by Brill Crenard, who famously started the company Two Rock, and he's a great amp tech and a great amp engineer, and he's done the whole Dumble thing. But then. To tell you a little bit about the history, there was a few guys around North America who were doing these conversions. You might have heard of, I think it's called Tex Amps and a few other people. And one in particular person was called Uston Hooks, who was making converting these amps, for session guitar players in in California,
okay.
LA area. And
great name, Aston Hooks.
Austin Hooks, as in Texas.
Austin Hooks.
Austin Hooks.
Fantastic name.
And anyway, he kind of had the same kind of desirability. People were ringing him up saying, make me one, and he'd only make them for people he liked. So it's kind of the same Dumble kind of thing. Yeah. So I guess Bill Crenard was kind of that kind of, piqued his interest or whatever.
If you're making for session players, so what are you looking for? You're looking for very containable volume.
Yeah.
Great clean tone. Yeah. Great breakup warmth.
Yeah.
And like those old Fender Deluxes and stuff that we've played, that lovely vocal comes from just below the ribs type feel when you play a note.
Yeah, yeah. So he was modding. I mean, bear in mind, there's a few other people as well. Like there's Tex Amps, and there's some other guy, I can't remember his name. But there's a few people doing these, and there was one great Canadian. I think it was a Canadian guitarist who was like the first guy of prominence to actually use one of these things live, and I can't remember his name.
It's not Dan Huff, is it?
No, but I will put his name in the description of the video so that you can go and check him out. But he was the first guy to kind of go out and really start using these in a live context.
Right.
And great. I think he might play for Lucinda Williams.
Okay.
Lucinda Williams. And another player who obviously played for Lucinda Williams was Blake Mills, who's like a big deal producer now. And Austin Hooks made him a couple of these, and then a few other variants. So anyway, I was hearing the sound of these amps on recorded on an album, and I was just like, wow, that's incredible. I haven't heard a tone that for me, really grabbed me since I'd heard the whole Dumble and Trainwreck thing, But so these were really where I wanted to go next, and it's a more kind of organic sound, a more kind of rootsy vintage sound for me than the kind of a little bit, because the Dumble thing can be a bit sterile.
Yes.
Can sound a little bit sterile.
I agree. As you know, I like quite a produced, refined, smooth tone.
Yeah.
Smooth is not very rock and roll.
No.
Nor am I. But for me that suits me great. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes you need a little more hair, edge.
Yeah. So another thing is, and people sometimes ask me what's on this case as well. So that's an album by Dominic Miller.
The great Dominic Miller. Who
plays guitar for Sting, and Manolito Simone. And Manolito is the kind of like Elton John of Cuba. He's a great band leader, and I hope to do some recording with him, Manolito.
Oh wow, fantastic!
This year or next year, but
because Dominic, of course, Dominic, great Latin player as well, because he was born in Argentina.
I think he was raised in Argentina, like myself.
Right. So you've got some legitimate claim on understanding those rhythms from the inside.
Sí, por supuesto.
There you go. That's stuff.
And then Che Guevara, because
political statement, warning.
I don't read at all. I don't read anything. I'm not really interested too much in Che Guevara.
I've got involved in a piece of internet propaganda.
No. Because the thing about Argentina, we only have two famous people: Diego Maradona, and Che Guevara. So you can't deprive us of one of our two icons.
Was Perón Argentine?
Yeah, you can say but that's more for the.
But he was president, but then
that's
Ava the wife, she got the famous one and got the musical and.
Yeah, but people don't really see her as a in Argentina, guys have tattoos. One tattoo of Maradona and one Che Guevara.
Do they?
And that's it.
I bet they've got a shoe collection like she must have had there.
You're thinking of the Burmese.
Well, it's Philippine. Marcus.
Imelda.
She had more shoes than I've got guitars.
And also, this is a symbol.
This is a mystical symbol of
the Berber. It's their national symbol, the Berber.
Is it?
International symbol, yeah. That's international Berber.
Who are the mountain and hill tribe in
Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. So I spent a lot of time there making music. My last album, Long Road to Tisnet, worked with a lot of those.
I love that album.
Yeah, thank you. So that's kind of I'm going to put a few other things, as I make my way through this world.
Why not? It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's really great.
So I've got to fill this one up, but they have a thing where you can put, where the manual would have gone.
Okay, this is like a metal strap. Across here. There's one on that one as well.
Exactly.
And it's obviously there for a purpose, and you've repurposed it for something interesting. It's fantastic.
So anyway,
these have got so much vibe and mojo. These guys, they really have.
Yeah. So this one's a EL84 one, and it's a 60s. It's from 1965. And the reason I love this one here, again modified by Bill Bernard, it's 240. So with this one I need a variac to bring it down to 1. It likes 117.
Does it?
It likes
117.
It likes 117.
That's very esoteric.
That's what you've got at the moment, 117. And I dial it in with this digital readout thing here.
Valued listeners and viewers, you do understand that I'm like an Eric Johnson or Van Halen type. You know, I can hear the difference between 117 and 118. Honest.
That amp likes 117.
So 117, amazing.
So this is a really cool one. It's 240 volts. I can take this, plug it into an English, British plug,
and blow the house lights without another thought.
Exactly. We're not having any problems.
Tell me, in comparison, I mean, obviously voltage differences, age differences, but the classic, the received wisdom is that your 6L6 or 6V6, 6V6, and EL34s, 84s. Yeah. So they're
this is like an AC15, and that's like a Tweed Deluxe.
I always get mixed up because the numbers go the wrong way. 84s are the small ones. Yes, they are.
Right. Thin and
so
tall.
the 6V6 is the small valves, the 6L6 is bigger, the EL84 is the small one, the EL34 is the big one. Right. So these are both small valve amps. Those have a reputation coming out of Marshall and Vox for having a little more upper middle, a little more nasal.
Crystalline cleans.
Right.
So crystalline. So
chiming.
If I want to get some chime happening, then this is going to be the amp. Right. But they both break up beautifully. So you can do an amp and you just get that beautiful breakup from both. So they are similar in that respect, but different. You know, this is much more like, you know, if you want your Memphis sort of Elvis Presley, Scotty Moore thing, Howlin' Wolf, this is the amp, man. This is the amp that's going to blow anything out of the water. But if you want sort of more, maybe a bit more power, clean power, then this is going to give you more clean headroom.
Okay.
Is the EL84, and you'll get above a drummer. This one will start complaining.
And we're talking about what's that kind of 18 watts?
Yeah, I'd say yeah. I can't even remember, but I think they're between 14 and 17, 18 watts. I can't even remember, something like that. But this one, you can play with the drummer with this one, but that one will just start to get fruity, and maybe the clean volume will suffer a bit more with that one.
Yeah. If you want to play it clean, it's going to start squashing and just disappearing.
Especially because they've got rectifier valves. You know what it's like, you come back on the second half, the drummer plays louder, the rectifier's a little bit more worn in.
Does the drummer play louder in the second? I've never noticed that, honest.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got it.
Oh, the dangerous bit of any set is about just a couple of songs into the second set. Everyone's now relaxing into it being the playing out to the end.
Yeah.
And that's the bit where everything, I was going to say falls apart, that's unkind, just gets a bit floppy. Yeah?
Tell me about it.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Another thing,
I'm too much of a control freak. I want everything to be beautiful all the time. Right.
So, MD. So, basically, another thing these amps take really, really well is this vibrato. So it's a lot of, nice. You see a lot of Americana sort of, and that kind of very. This is a Reverberamo, which I'm using here, and also another little gizmo that I use with these two amps is it's called the Wow Goose Master. You know, Goose Master as in me. And what this does, it just splits the signal. and you've got a volume on top.
And it's got the biggest volume control in the history of guitar amplification.
So when you get
it's an old-fashioned power station rheostat.
Yeah, so if you're losing your mind from drugs, alcohol, or senility, you can just do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
They do. They take trem really well. And so my trem is coming from my little pedal board here, my Boss MS3, not from the amp, but it's whereas your trem's coming from the amp.
Yeah, these amps love reverb and they love tremolo. So what we're going to do, I've actually started a Filmosound group on Facebook, so please join, okay? And you can ask any questions. And we've actually had some people ask some questions, so I'm just going to go onto the Facebook group now. The wiring diagram for the layout. Well, as if we're going to have some the wiring diagram. Have you got the wiring diagram?
Do you know? Fuck it. I left it in the bathroom this morning.
Second question. IC models.
But having said that, surely Mr. Interweb is going to have. Mr. Interweb's got tons of this kind of stuff.
There was actually a guy, because when I had to send the schematics to Bill Crenard, and there was a Dutch guy that's got everything.
Right.
And I bought you pay for them for the PDF. And I bought it.
Well, maybe find the link and stick it on the video if you can.
I will do, guys.
Yeah,
do that for you.
That would sort it.
So, second question: IC models come with transformers would be cool. Oh, which models come with transformers? Okay, that's a good question, because there are some that don't even have a transformer. That don't have a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they have. They have the output transformer, but they don't have a mains transformer.
So how does the power supply get?
That's probably feeding off the projector. There's probably a central a transformer feeding the projector. And
yeah, because of course we must remember that these are actually quite large boxes for quite small amps, and the reason is there was a whole load of mechanical guts that moved the celluloid around.
Yeah, so. Apparently be careful with those models though, because they're beautiful ones. They've got kind of an Art Deco look to them, but be careful with those ones because you can easily kill yourself with those ones. Apparently,
really,
there's a lot of they're really dangerous.
Well, as a rule, I'd say, I mean, unless you really know what you're doing. I mean, one of the reasons that people who know what they're doing with amps love these amps is that when you get inside them, they're really simple. So people can work with them and they can tweak them, which is fantastic. Yeah. But if you don't know what you're doing, well, that's like me. Then going inside an amp is a pretty scary thing, because one of these capacitors can give you a very nasty bite. Yeah, indeed, if not worse.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a beginner's, because they're a bit of a rat's nest to get into. So I wouldn't say that a beginner's. Yeah. I'd say if you're a novice amp builder, or amp you want to build a couple of amps first.
Yeah, go make a little champ or a Princeton. Or something.
And then a Tweed Deluxe, and then you can fiddle around with these things.
Yeah. I mean, maybe even start out with something like a Torres kit or something, because they make little deluxe kits, and they're supposed to be really good. Yeah.
Well, another guy here asked, recommended classic circuits mods would be good to include, and which circuits to which model, etc. Well, again, that's getting into technical realms that Bob and I are not really conversant. But what I would say is, there's a guy called Dog something. You must have seen this video. It's a guy called Dog, D-A-W-K, and you can see him modding.
Right.
A Filmosound. And what I can tell you is this: the mods to these Filmosounds is not drastic.
No.
They're very small. They're just like putting a jack so you can put a guitar in. Because the original ones maybe have like the speaker jacks and then the 3-pin mains, changing the filter caps, and changing a few value resistors.
But for example, I mean, you've got trem on that amp.
No trem.
So your trem's coming from, sorry, right.
Yeah.
So both our trems are coming from outboard, right, that answers that question.
Okay, Bob, what else do we need to mention?
I think you need to talk about some speakers, because they're I mean, frankly, they're about as important as the amp anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, my experience playing with drummers and gigging these things is if you're going to gig them, have a basic Celestion ceramic speaker or an Eminence or something like that, you know? Because when you go to a gig, you don't want the speaker to break. You don't want to have like an expensive Jensen Alnico, which is costly, yeah, and hard to get, and then you're going to blow it up.
So you're talking here about just a speaker that you're not going to crunch, rather than you're doing this because that speaker has a particular limitation or compression or something.
Yeah,
it's just about reliability under combat conditions.
Even a Celestion Blue, because this one, for example, might blow a Celestion Blue. That one won't.
Right.
But this one might. So
Celestion Blue is rated at 15 watts. So if that thing's peaking at maybe it says 17 or 18, but it can throw out a
22,
spike of
22.
I still If you were really caning it for a long gig, I think you might be in with a risk, but. Yeah, I'd probably take the risk most times. I mean, so for example, my Lazy J combo has got a Celestion Blue in it.
Right.
That's rated at about, I don't know, some expert out there will tell me I'm wrong, but it feels like about 17, 18 watts. And I've no problem with that at all.
I've blown a 20 watt speaker with this.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
20 watt. No, not 20 watt, maybe, 20 watt speaker I've blown.
Interesting.
So I would say 30 watts to be safe. This one here that I've got in here, this is a 30 watt 10-inch speaker.
Right.
But I'm running through 3 Eminence 10 inches in this cabinet, which are Eminence Blue speakers, beautiful speakers.
By the way, is a fantastic cabinet. So that's a repurposed Lazy J cabinet, external cabinet, right? Tweed covered, Lazy J colours, and they've tucked 3 10s onto that baffle, which is quite a nice bit of fitting work.
But here's the deal, guys. So if you're playing at home, you can have your fancy Jensen Alnico from 1950, whatever. Yeah. That's going to be fine. You're not going to blow it. But if you're playing with a drummer, just make your life easy. Get a ceramic 30 watt speaker.
Well, or indeed, I mean, you could say any speaker could be ceramic, could be Alnico, your taste, but just make sure you've got the air cover of enough power handling capacity.
That's if you're playing with the drummer. And you want to throw lots of different, humbuckers in it. And if you're playing with a drummer, just get a 30 watt ceramic speaker, and then you can relax.
Also, through microphones in the studio, these things, everyone says the same things, always the same word. These things sound huge.
Yeah.
How can a little shoebox sound huge? Led Zeppelin 1 and 2.
Little Super.
Recorded on shoeboxes. Yeah. A lot of Queen stuff recorded on a shoebox.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where these amps really come into. So if you are using them in the studio, then you can use your Jensens. It's a controlled environment, But with a drummer, everything goes out the window, and you're just looking for a strong speaker.
Struggling, flailing for survival.
Yeah, you don't want like this old 1950s speaker, Nico, clinging on for his life, like compressing the hell out of your sound, and almost sucking the tone away. I don't want that. But just to finish on these, Bob. The great thing about these is you can get pretty much really high-end, beautiful, amazing sound like you've never heard before, which you could only get from like these 10 grand bloody Tweed amps.
Yep.
You can get that for less than $1,000, or even if you want to do it yourself, a couple of £100, or even maybe less than that.
That's
amazing. For 50.
I mean, you can't get anything for a couple of £100 these days.
But you might even find one of these in a car boot sale for £50.
Yeah.
And then you've got a beautiful amp for £50. And all of them are going to be suited for guitar. You can turn all of them into guitar. It just depends how good you are with the schematic, and you're changing those values to the impedance of a guitar to interface with the amp. That's really what all it is. And then changing the caps.
Just because they got a bit old and they've wandered. Yeah.
And so that's really it. So apologies that I can't go into really specifics, but. If you check out that guy he's called Dog whatever, and he does a basic conversion, and you can see him doing the conversion and looking at the schematic. But
put a link up on the video with it.
Yeah, we will do. So that's really it.
Fantastic. Well, a bit of shameless self-promotion. So Ramon's told you already he's playing tonight, which is not much use because by the time this gets published, it'll be after tonight. But he's playing a gig with Malcolm Bruce and Co at the Eel Pie Club in Twickenham tonight, which is great.
Thank you.
First of all, we'll put a list up because of my various things. It's several different dates for several different bands, but I'll put them up anyway because unusually for a musician that doesn't gig much, I'm gigging a lot. It's probably a bit too much in the short period of time. It's all a bit hairy, but hey, no complaints. So I'll put that up. But also the other thing to trail is what you and I are up to in a few weeks' time. On a Sunday.
Yeah, it's July the 13th.
July 13th.
And basically what you're seeing here, we're going to do live. For the first time ever. Yeah.
And are we going to do it live? It's interesting, I should really have asked this question before. But we're going to do it, we're doing it in front of an audience.
We certainly are.
So therefore, it is going to be not only live, but live.
So we do a bit of playing, a bit of chatting.
And actually, it's a precursor because we've been whittering on for a couple of months now about maybe trying to do a Facebook Live version of this, so we get incoming.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'm so terrified of technology and all the rest of it, I wouldn't really know where to start. But I think it's a good idea in principle.
We will next time we meet up, we'll do a live thing.
Fantastic.
We'll do that,
Amazing.
Yeah. So if you are in the South End, which is the Garden of England. No, that's Kent, isn't it? Sorry. But South End is. Have you ever seen a film called Essex Boys?
No.
You've never seen Essex Boys?
No. Or, and I'm married to an Essex girl.
The Rise of the Foot Soldier?
No.
These are all films about Essex gangsters. So for American viewers, basically I grew up in Essex. I'm from Colchester. That's where I'm born. And basically you've got these kind of Essex gangsters, selling drugs, running nightclubs. And there's a few films called Essex Boys and Rise of the Foot Soldier. Really good films, actually. We will be there. We're going to be there in Southend.
Somewhere. Doing it out the back of my car in a car park somewhere near Southend.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Well, hey, at least it might be sunny because it's July. So we're in with in the UK we're in with a 5% chance of sun?
Yes, and we can get some jelly deals on the pier.
Oh.
Afterwards.
Oh. And pie and mash and green sauce. What's it called? Not the
mushy peas.
Mushy peas.
Mushy peas, yeah. And jelly deals.
I have to say,
these are eels that are jellied and they're nice. Do you like them?
I like eels the way they do them in Rome.
Right.
Okay.
Fancy Italian.
Yeah, fancy Italian shit. Yeah, with a bit of oil, garlic, and artichoke.
No, in Essex we don't do it like that. We just jelly deals. That's it.
Yeah.
Straight from the sea. Cockles and mussels.
They're basically fish flavoured rubber bands.
Man, you're really slagging off Essex. Can't believe it.
Well, no, because you can get
he's posh London. I'm rough Essex.
Decent prawns in Essex too.
Right.
Yeah. No, the cockles and mussels. Well, it's like any of you out there that like snails. Until next time. Actually, next time out may well be that live show. We might tuck another one in before then.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
But as ever, thanks for your views. Thanks for your subscriptions. Keep the comments coming.
Yeah.
And we'll keep pressing on.
And check out these Filmosounds amps, guys. There's always a different direction you can take. And surprise yourself, your audience. With different times. So check the Filmosounds. And that's it from this band here. And it's it from this gentleman here too. I've just noticed, by the way, the colour coordination today is very good, isn't it? Kind of, taupe and beige and blue. It's yeah. Very, very... I'll tell you, the bloody styling team behind the camera, all 40 of them behind the camera, they've been working overtime. They have indeed. They have indeed. But it's goodbye from that man there with his Explorer, and it's goodbye from this man here with his Explorer. Take care, guys. See you. Ciao. Bye.